All right, students, we left off on questions 4 through 9, find the given probabilities. All right, this is when we switched and we learned something called a binomial probability, and we used a button called binom PDF. All right, so that's the button we're going to use. We're just going to switch after finding just after finding probabilities from a chart, we then learned how to find binomial probabilities on our calculator. Here we go. A survey found that 26%, that is the P, the probability of something happening, of U.S. adults believe there is no difference between secured and unsecured wireless networks. You randomly select 100 adults. That's the number of trials. That is your N, how many total people you are surveying. What is the probability that exactly 35? So you want the probability, capital P, of exactly 35. So we're going to go to second dister, and binom PDF is right down here towards the bottom, and the number of trials is the total number of people, which is 100. P is the percent. We have to turn that to a decimal, 0.26, and X is what we're solving for. We're solving for exactly 35, so I'm going to put a 35 in there. I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to hit enter, and we usually round these to like 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. So that is a 5 or above to give that a shove. So my answer is 0.012. Then it asks if this is usual or unusual. And we learned a rule. If you're doing a z-score, to be usual or unusual was between -2 and +2. Our rule when we were doing probabilities, if it is less than a 5% chance of happening, then it is unusual. If you have less than a 5% chance of it happening, it is unusual. There is less than a 5% chance of you getting bitten by a shark. It would be unusual for you to be bitten by a shark. So if you turn that into a decimal, that's less than 0.05. So either think of it as a percent or you can think of it as a decimal. So is 0.012 less than 0.05? Yes, it is. Or you can move this over 2 places and think of this as 1.2%, which is less than 5%. So is this an unusual event? Yes, it is unusual because 0.012 is less than 0.05. All right, let's do another one. A survey found that 52%, that's your P, of U.S. adults associate professional football with negative moral values. You randomly select 150 adults, that's your N. What's the probability of exactly 65? So you want 65. Here we go. Go to second dister. Go to binom PDF. Trials, you're surveying 150 people. The probability of that happening is 0.52. The X value you're solving for is 65. Hit enter, round it to 3 decimal places, and you get 0.007. Is this an unusual event? Yes, it is unusual because 0.007 is less than 0.05. And we are done with that page. Next page. Here we go. About 10% is our P, of workers in the United States commute to their jobs by carpooling. You randomly select 8 workers. 8 is your N, the total number of people. What is the probability of exactly 4? So I want probability of 4. So if I go to second dister and I go down to binom PDF, my trials is 8, my P is 0.10, and I'm solving for 4. Hit enter, And your answer is, let's go to 3 decimals. That's a 5 or above to give that a shove. 0.005. Is this unusual? Yes, it is unusual because 0.005 is less than 0.05. Number 7, 5% of workers. So now that's our new P in the United States commute to their jobs using public transportation. You randomly select 6 workers. That's now your N. What is the probability that exactly 2 people use public transportation to get to work? So I want the probability of 2. So go to second dister, go down to binom PDF. Trials is 6. The probability is 0.05. And we're solving for 2, round that to 3 decimals, and you get 0.031. Is this unusual? Yes, it is unusual because 0.031 is less than 0.05. Number 8, a survey found that 17% of U.S. adults say that Google News is a major source of news for them. You randomly select 4 adults, that is your N, and ask them whether Google News is a major source of news for them. Find the probability that less than 2, not an exactly. I want the probability of less than 2. What numbers are less than 2? The numbers that are less than 2 are 0 and 1. So you want to find the probability of 0, and you want to find the probability of 1, and you want to add those 2 numbers together. So we're going to do binom PDF twice. We're going to do it for the 0, and we're going to do it for the 1. So if I do it for the 0, binom PDF, wrong button. Let's try that again. Second dister, go down to binom PDF. My trials is 4. There are 4 people. The probability is 0.17, and I'm going to do the probability of 0 and hit enter, and that is 0.475. Now I'm going to run this again because I need less than 2, and less than 2 is 0 and 1, so now I got to do it for the 1. But remember the trick I taught you. You can hit second, you can hit enter, and just go back and change that 0 to a 1, and you get 0.389. So now if you add these 2 numbers together, 0.475 plus 0.389, you get 0.864, and there's your answer. Let's do one more. A survey found that 27%, that's your P, you randomly select 5 adults, there's your N, and ask them whether CNN is a major source of news for them. Find the probability that between 1 and 4 inclusive. Inclusive means to include. So I want to include the 1, I want to include the 4, and I want what's between them. So I want 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want to include the 1 and the 4, and I want what's between 1 and 4 is 2 and 3. So now I got to do binom PDF 4 times. So go to second dister, go down to binom PDF, trials is 5, probability is 0.27, and our first time we're doing it, we want a 1. And if I get that answer, I get 0.383. Now, remember the hint I gave you. Hit second, enter, go back and turn the 1 to a 2, and you get 0.284. Hit second, enter, go back and turn the 2 to a 3, and you get 0.105. Hit second, enter, go back, change the 3 to a 4, and you get 0.019. And now your final answer is just to add these up. 0.383 plus 0.284 plus 0.105 plus 0.019, And your answer is 0.791. And there is your answer to number 9. Let me see what the next page is. Yeah, we can do another page and then we'll stop. Here we go. 62% of cancer survivors are ages 65 years or older. You randomly select 6, there's your N, and ask them whether they are 65 years or older, and we need to fill in the chart. So we're just going to be basically doing binom PDF here. We're doing it 7 times, 1, 2, 3, and here we're doing it 5 times. So here we go. Go to second dister, go down to binom PDF. The trials is 6, the probability is 0.62, and the first time I do it, I want a 0, hit enter, and you get 0.0030, 0.0030. Why 4 decimals? Because the directions say 4 decimal places. Hit second enter, change the 0 to a 1, and you should get 0.0295. Hit second enter, change the 1 to a 2, you get 0.1202. Hit second enter, change the 2 to a 3, you get 0.2616. Hit second enter, change the 3 to a 4, you get 0.3201. Hit second enter, change the 4 to a 5, 0.2089, and hit second enter and change the 5 to a 6, and you get 0.0568. And I want to do the next problem real fast. 28% is our P. You randomly select 4 adults. So let's clear that and go to second dister. Second dister. Go down to binom PDF. Where are we at? We have 4 adults. The P is 0.28. And we're going to start at 0. You should get 0.2687. Hit second enter and change that to a 1. You should get 0.4180. Second enter, change the 1 to a 2. You should get 0.2439. And you should get, change a 2 to a 3. You should get 0.0632. And one more, change the 3 to a 4. And you should get 0.0061. And why did the screen, oh God, why did it do this? It just died. Where did it stop?